All right. Good evening, everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order. Calling this meeting to order at 6:39. We're going to do a roll call followed by the pledge. And I need to get my cheat sheet here. Kathy McCarthy will be here. She is our chair. I'm acting chair right now. Chris Nettles.
I'm here.
And Darlene Warner, I am here. Jake Strickler is absent. Joe Schneider is absent. And Mel McMurrin.
Here.
And we do have a quorum, so we can go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. And the first thing we will do is approve our current agenda. If I can, there's no changes or any items that to be removed or added. I need a motion to approve the current agenda.
I move to approve the September 19th agenda.
Okay, I think Robert beat you to that, so do you want to give the
I'll
second? All right. Agenda approved. Let me write this down as well. I'm doing double duty. Robert, Chris. All right, and we have minutes from our last meeting. If everyone's gotten a chance to look those over, we need to approve those minutes. Mary?
Second.
Okay, and Chris, that was you, second? All right. Next item on the, minutes approved. Short announcements. Anyone wishing to make a short announcement? We've got a microphone over there. Don't know what happened to our podium, but... Oh. I can talk pretty loud. To the microphone. Oh, wireless. Oh, wow, we're getting fancy.
Wow, the technology.
Okay, yeah, just go ahead and pull it down and state your name.
My name is Mary Prather. I'm a mountain lion. And we made a net profit at the Blackberry Festival of just shy under 10,000.
Wow.
Nice.
And we are going to be having an Oktoberfest again. It'll be our second one on October 26th here. The doors open at 5, and it's $20, and the tickets are pre-sale, so that we'll have an idea. So you can see any of the lions, and there are flyers around. We've started our building renovations. As you can see, this door over here does not say this is not an exit. There is a deck and steps and an awning there. And they've addressed the termite issues that we had and replaced siding on the Little Red and with the old siding that we had saved. So we're moving right along. We've ordered the flooring, and hopefully it'll be here this week, and then it has to acclimate. And then by your next meeting, we should have new floor.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic news.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's great.
So you've been working on it for a long time. How many years now?
How many what?
Years. Have you been sort of waiting to make these improvements?
I did see a termite inspection of like 2016 that I saw today, because I've been going through all the paperwork trying to organize.
I knew it had been a couple of years at least.
Yeah. 12. So I'm close.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, thank you.
12's a couple.
Just a short announcement. The Middletown Art Center has extended its exhibition of The Space Between, an exhibition of spiritual art from Lake County. They've extended it to October 7th. And I bring it up here at the Cobb Area Council because I think we have like 6 or 7 groups up here. And that's a way to get to know all of these people who live amongst us. So
And-
that's the Middletown Arts Center. They're open Thursday to Monday, I believe, from 3, I couldn't tell you, but they
It's
close at
early
5
afternoon
p.m.
they open, I think.
Yeah, like
like around noon.
1 p.m. to 5 p.m. or something like that.
And your name for the record, even though most of us know it, but
Magdalena Valderrama.
thank you. All right, now we have another one. Excellent.
My name is Ashley Strunk. I am the Director of Operations for all the Bellwood investment properties on Cobb. We are opening Boston Steakhouse on Saturday, the 21st. We have posted the menu online. Our website is up and running, and we will be doing a small party, I guess, from noon to 4 on Saturday. We have Swollen Pines coming to play music. We have Bouncy House and some toys for kids. I'll also be doing a bunch of giveaways of free dinners and stuff like that for anybody that comes between noon and 4. And we'll be doing the ribbon cutting at 2 p.m. with the restaurant officially opening at 4 p.m. Saturday.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
They were very good to start, and they're going to be amazing going forward. So I'm very excited for everybody to come try us.
So say again the hours on Saturday that you're...
Saturdays is going to be, we're going to be open 7 days a week as of Saturday.
Okay.
And it'll be 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. for the kitchen. Friday and Saturday we'll keep the bar open until 10. It's just the beer and wine license for the time being until a full Type 47 comes available in Lake County. So.
Can you repeat the name? And it's at the golf course?
Boston's, yes, Belmont Pines Golf Course. The restaurant is called Boston Steakhouse.
Boston.
And the bar is going to be Broderick's off the fairway. So they're two brotherly concepts because that's both sons' names. So, yeah. So we've got the fun side and the fancy side. Okay,
Thank you so
you're
much.
very welcome.
Any other short announcements?
Yeah, I'll make a short announcement. Several of us here in the Cobb area are involved with the Cobb Local Area Planning Advisory Council. Elliot is one of them. I'm on the council as well. There are a few other people. I won't name everybody. We are having a public meeting that's going to be advertised fairly broadly by the County Development Office, but put in your calendar for October 9th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. The LAPAC will be having a public meeting. This is where you can comment on any land use issues or anything related to the area plan. You can find the details about how to access the Zoom on lakecounty2050.org. You can also find all the lists of the various planning committees, the area plans, the general plan. It's all there on lakecounty2050.com.
.org.
Sorry.
Yeah.
.org. So it's lakecounty2050.org. Log in there and take a look at everything, and please join the LAPAC, the Cobb LAPAC meeting, October 9th, 5:30 p.m.
Awesome, thank you, Chris. Any other short announcements? All right, do we have anyone in the Zoom room, Thomas?
Nobody on Zoom.
All right. And Mel, did you have?
I figured Glennis was going to announce his Saturday play, but he's not online.
He was going to be on
I
there.
think he was going to try to be, but, okay.
Okay.
but-
Just me.
I just know that his Friday class was full, and so he was considering a Saturday class if people were interested. That's all I remember.
And the ceramics,
Ceramic.
yeah. Okay, and so you're going to contact him, should we give that a moment or move on here? We'll see
Can we
if,
add it at the end?
we can add it at the end, yeah,
Okay.
we can circle back to that. Next up is our public and board comment on non-agenda items, so anything that's not already on the agenda. If you'd like to speak about anything, now would be the time to do so, and 3 minutes an individual. So if anyone would like to comment, now would be the time. And please state your name for the record.
I'm Kees Winkelman, and I wanted to see if the people in the audience are aware that we're not gonna get the roads repaved again this year. It's been now 9 years since the fire. We had money about 5 or 6 years ago through VIMA, and De Leon, that was on the road, in charge of the road department, they did not follow up with the paperwork in the county, and we lost that money. This year, we have the money. We were supposed to do the roads this year, but it's been canceled again because of lack of paper filing. The county did not follow up with the environmental report. So I wish more people would come out and follow up with this here and perhaps ask our supervisor what's going on. The money is still there, but now it's not going to happen again till next year. I feel it's been now 9 years since the fire, and every time there is a problem. So I just wanted the public to know. Thank you.
Right, yeah. Is that something, when was the environmental impact report? Is that what you're referring to? That has not been done for this year? Or for this project?
Supervisor Price reported on this a couple of meetings ago about how to.
Yes. And there is a bid out. and
Yeah.
I was going to ask her, but she didn't address it at the last meeting.
Right.
But, the bid is out for all the roads that are in the subdivisions. And they were waiting for the bids to come in.
Right.
And I was going to ask her.
It was supposed to be early spring,
Well,
then they made it into later in the year.
they had the bid went out, I think, the end of August, 1st of September.
Right.
So it takes the time, unfortunately, and they only have until June 30th, 2025 before the work has to be done. So it is in the process, but she's not here to defend or to let us know when it is. But it is in the process, and that was one of my questions I was going to ask her.
Yeah, so just,
But I wish, I don't know if this committee could do that, I wish there was some kind of a newsletter that can go out to the public, because I have a lot of people asking me in my neighborhood at Fox there, what's going on, why are we delaying?
right,
People don't understand what's happening.
sure. As Mary mentioned, I believe it was August 16th was the deadline for the bids to come in. Now, as far as the EIR, that would be a question for Jessica. And unfortunately, I don't think she's going to be here tonight. She's in Roanoke Park for like a 3-day long conference type thing. And now, where that stands, what that's holding up, I don't know. But we were hoping to get it started for like 180 days or some number of days this year until, weather and all that, and then pick it up again next year. But if the environmental impact report has not been done, that may be the only thing holding that up, because the last I knew, everything was moving forward. So, but failing further information from what you're bringing up, I don't have an answer on that myself, but Robert?
Could you put this on the next agenda, which is the idea of bringing it up now as not an item?
Sure, yeah, I think we
I
can
think
do
that's a
that.
good idea.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, we'll put that on the roads. And I believe it was the meeting before last, we did have the new Public Works Director here doing a presentation where he did pass out a list of all the roads in this area that are slated to be paved. So, okay, all right,
And is it on
yeah.
the website as well?
Our website is not, even the minutes and the agenda and all that from years past are not showing up on there.
Okay.
So we've got to get that fixed, but on the county website, our agendas and are on there, so I'm
But no
gonna,
minutes.
they're somewhere, because I'm sending them to Wendy and Joanna, but yeah,
All right, we'll look into the website too.
yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
that's fine.
But if anybody needs, I have a copy of that on me, but I don't have the ability to make copies.
I do.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Here, you can make copies? Oh, okay, well, I will pull that out and make copies, but we'll put this on the agenda. Let me make a note of that. Roads. Do you have any further information on that, Jake? Being an engineer and working with DPW?
I spoke with the Public Works Director about 2 weeks ago, and he mentioned there was a delay in it, and I don't recall the reasoning for it. It was, I don't know if that's already been discussed, but I think something had come up and things were getting pushed back a little bit. But again, this was just a quick chat when I saw him on the street and he brought it up, so, but I don't recall precisely what that was.
Yeah, don't mean to put you on the
Yeah,
spot,
no,
but,
it's-
yeah.
Well, California, that works with us at the water company, he'd been to the board of supervisors meeting Tuesday, and he was told that the project is definitely not going to happen this year, because of not following up with the paperwork. And this happened to us 5 years ago, 5, 6 years ago. We had the money then, but again, the county did not follow up with the paperwork. And I approached DV on that, and he denied it, that it was not his fault. But we did lose the money, and I want to make sure that this time we're not going to lose the money.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think more people need to speak up about that.
Oh, yeah,
To
yeah.
me, it's important that we get these roads after 9 years,
Yeah,
and it's still a disaster there.
Yeah.
They need to be fixed.
yeah. I hear you. We'll definitely do what we can from this end and see what we can find out and do, because, yeah, we all want our roads, especially ours, you know, they've been through the fire and then some, so, and it's been ongoing, so.
And I would recommend just sending an email to Department or Public Works and just asking what the status is, and, you know, instead of waiting another month for it to come on our agenda, if you send the email out tomorrow, chances are you'll get a response early part of next week, and at least you'll know what's happening, and the more people that are vocal about it, you know, the more we're on their radar. So, you know, everybody can do their part and do that. I think that benefits the Cobb area.
And I see Joe out there coming in, so we're gonna need another chair. All right. All right, and any other comments that are for items not on the agenda? Or, all right. Anyone from the board have any comments? All right, we can move on. Let's see, supervisor's comments, she is not here. Jessica, Supervisor Pyska, so we won't have a report from her unless anybody, unless she sent anything to anybody. Moving on to fire season update. Joe is present. Change that from an A to a P. All right. Well, Paul Duncan, our fire chief, is normally here to give a fire season update. I do not have any information from him. I would just say we're still in fire season, and you know, zone 0 is very important, 0 to 5 feet from your house to keep clear. And just be vigilant with your fire activities. If you light anything, to be safe and all that good stuff. And it is still fire season, and all I can say on my behalf is just my hearts go out to everybody from the Boyles fire. That one really got away from us real quick, but our crews have been excellent on top of all the other fires that we've had. And we've been very fortunate, except for the Boyles fire, that they've been put out very quickly, so. That's kind of the report for Paul Duncan, even though he's, again, like Kathy channeled him last month. I'm sure he'd like us to say something, so. All right, on to the treasurer's report. Chris,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
So I gave you a treasurer's report.
You did.
For the minutes and for the record. When we get to the Cobbler Festival, I'll give a full accounting of the Cobbler Festival. The numbers that I'm going to give you right now are just for this month. So this is for the period between August 15th and today. For our general fund, we spent and had a reduction in that fund of a little over $1,000, $1,007.31. The Blackberry Cobbler Festival, after the festival, and some of the expenses that came in this month, we added $10,632 into that particular account. The sculpture jams have no activity. There's a little bit of money hanging out there, $204. That's restricted use, and CAC acts as the fiscal sponsor for Glennis Sculpture Jam. We'll continue to hold on to that money for him. Cobb AlertNet received $250 last month for radios. I think you gave me a check for that, and we've got another check coming in from the festival.
That is the festival.
Yeah. Oh, that was the festival.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we got another check going out because we can buy new radios.
I got you.
Which we have.
That's the other check that I had.
Yeah.
All right. So $250 was added to the Cobb AlertNet. They've got $1,667.55. The general fund has $3,895, and there's also this emergency preparedness fund that has been sitting dormant, but we can use this for any sort of emergency preparedness work. It's got $2,417 sitting in there. So right now we have an operating budget balance. This is all those accounts of $28,472.37. If you're interested in the details of who we gave money to, you'll need a magnifying glass because I was really intent on fitting it on one page. For transparency's sake, the details about who we paid and all the transactions in and out are up here. You're welcome to grab one if you are interested in those details. So, pardon. We also have a small business loan fund from the San Francisco Home Loan Bank that has been also sitting dormant. It's got about $48,000 in it, which means we have total net assets of restricted and unrestricted funds of $76,555. So we need to probably figure out how to activate that small business loan fund. So that is something that we should probably add to an agenda upcoming or to a economic development committee meeting.
Yeah, maybe start with the Economic Development Committee and then bring it,
Come back with a proposal. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions on the treasurer's report?
The bottom line, we're doing fine.
Yeah. And great money from the Cobbler Festival. All right, and now we can finally get to our highlight of the evening. Welcome to, John, do you say Spica? Is that? Yeah, John Spica from the Resiliency Initiative Wildfire Evacuation and Preparedness Plan presented by, oh, you're the Lake Area Planning Council, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yes. The floor is yours.
Whatever easy is, maybe just the one.
Warming up a little bit. It was nice and bright when I came in.
It'll come back in a second here.
Bless you.
There's too many lights in this place.
Perfect. Okay, again, my name's John Spica, and I'm with the Lake Area Planning Council. I'll explain who the Lake Area Planning Council is in 1 second. I do want to thank the council for having me. We're trying to get the word out for a new project. We got a grant through Caltrans through their Sustainable Transportation Planning Grant Program. There's I think it's a resiliency component of that grant program, and so we were fortunate enough to be awarded for this fire prevention or evacuation preparedness plan. Now, we do have a consultant that we're working with. That's the resiliency initiative, just to not confuse issues.
Sorry about that.
I'm with the Lake Area Planning Council. We hired them to do our plan for us, but I'm here to give you just kind of the briefest presentation here, just to kind of run it down. This is our sort of our community outreach phase of the program, or the early phase. Here's where you get some kind of input from folks around the county. So, like I mentioned, I'm with the Lake Area Planning Council. We are the regional transportation planning agency for the Lake County region. So what we do, a lot of it is getting funding through either the state or the feds to get money to the local public works agencies. We work with the county public works, and we work with the 2 cities, and we're sort of the regional umbrella. There's a whole bunch of them throughout the state, and we're this region. So that's.
Does that also include Municipal?
No, they have their own regional transportation planning agency. There's Municipal Council.
This is just Lake County.
This is just Lake County, correct. Anyway, I mean, our board is made up of 2 county supervisors, 2 council members from each of the cities, and 2 at-large members. So, you know, it is kind of a local agency in the sense that, you know, we have representation from the local jurisdictions. And what we, like I said, what we primarily do is get transportation funding, and we do planning work. And we typically do these plans, like for instance, this one that we're working on now, and community outreach is a big component of these. So this plan is a wildfire evacuation preparedness plan. Ultimately, the goal is to coordinate evacuation efforts with all the agencies, the big hitters being like Office of Emergency Services and local fire districts, Lake Transit Authority for the bus services. There's been a horrible history in this county for fires, as you all are well aware of. And they've kind of on an ad hoc basis, they've kind of like pieced together a response to each of these. So Lake Transit Authority has worked to help evacuate areas, and they have worked closely with Office of Emergency Services and other agencies. What this plan is hoping to do is sort of kind of standardize these procedures. There's a lot of turnover in these agencies, and eventually, you've got to reinvent the wheel. So we're hoping to have a document that people could kind of turn to, and agency folks as well as community members. The third component of the plan here is to inform community members of best practices and procedures of how to evacuate and who to contact, and for where maybe to head for the particular emergency. Where we're at with this one is, like I said, we hired this consulting firm, the Resiliency Initiative. They are currently working on, well, they've already kind of met with some of the local agency folks and project partners, the big ones like I mentioned, Office of Emergency Services and Fire Protection. They're, they got up to speed on reviewing all the local plans and policies for all the jurisdictions to see what they state on these items, for instance, the safety component of the general plan and those sorts of things. But this is our public outreach phase, and we did launch a survey that we have online, and I have flyers to pass out for hoping some interest. we stack here. And there's plenty, so what they do is they have a QR code on it, so you can just, you can take the survey online. For those that really don't like doing that, I do have some hard copies here, and I'm happy to hang out if you want to fill them out here as well. But this also, it gives you, it's a short survey, it just kind of gets a feel for what the different communities around the county, the biggest concerns that they may have or the priorities that they're looking at, safeguarding. So there's also some workshops scheduled next month. There's October 23rd in Clear Lake and October 24th in Lakeport. And that's, there's going to be official or representatives of the Resiliency Initiative, our consulting firm, will be heading those, and they'll be getting a lot of input from the community members, and they will also be able to give information on where they're at with the project and where they plan to go from here. So those are coming up. I also have some business cards that you're free to contact me with any questions you may have along the way.
Two places, are they exactly going to be exactly the same workshops?
More or less, yeah.
Okay. And is there a specific one that if we want to come to Cobb, is there a specific one or just date?
Yeah, it won't really matter. I mean, going to one or the other would like get you the same information that you're going to be after. And this is sort of the front end of the project. Once they, we have all this information that we're trying to get, and we're trying to look at, bottlenecks or kind of one way in, one way out areas. And like I said, the bigger concerns for communities around the county, they'll put a plan together and a draft will be circulated. And they'll have 2 more public outreach meetings towards the end for people to be able to give their take on comments on the plan, the draft version of it at that point. And so, like I said, we have the survey. The next steps are we're trying to get folks to take this. We've already been, last week we were at the Big Valley Advisory Council, and we're going to try to hit up Middletown and some of the North Shore ones as well. With the workshops that are coming up, there's like I said, a second set of workshops towards the end when the draft is prepared. And we do have the Lake Area Planning Council website has a page that's dedicated to this project, so you can kind of check in there if you'd like to see what the status is on the project as it's moving along. And like I said, it's a brief presentation, but that was the gist of it. The main thing is to have people take the survey. Here's my contact information. I also have some business cards if anyone would like one, and you're free to call me or email me and if you have any questions along the way. And that's sort of it. Unless anyone has any questions, I try my best to answer.
I have a question. So is this like the initial phase of maybe getting like funding to do projects to make things around the county a little?
Well, no. The short answer is no. This is just kind of a coordination plan to, like I said, get everyone on the same page and help the community kind of have a go-to maybe document to look at when to be prepared better for further future emergencies. We are working kind of hand in hand. I know the general plan is being updated right now, and there is a hazard mitigation plan that's part of their larger general plan. In fact, I think the Lake Board meeting, if I'm not mistaken, is kind of tag team. We're going to both be available at that same meeting. So we are working in conjunction with the safety plans and that sort of thing for the general plan. Yes?
How much was the planning grant for?
170,000, I believe. I'd have to double check on that, but that's the ballpark.
I've attended a bunch of the county meetings, and this is the first one that I've heard. I'm glad that it's coming along. But one of the things that we're really, you mentioned, addressing things like bottlenecks and egress and ingress issues. Are you guys keeping in mind Caltrans projects that might be blocking our evacuation, because we had that issue here in Cobb a couple of years ago, in the last couple of years, and it took a while to kind of, smooth that one out.
Right, well, Caltrans is a partner in the project, and as the funding agency themselves, we got the money from them, and they're part of our technical advisory group that kind of guides the consulting firm on where to, how best to proceed and as the project moves along. I mean, it's hard to say exactly. Well, every emergency is different, so where the evacuation route may be, chosen. What we're trying to do is trying to come up with the best plan to, for folks to have a one-stop shop to kind of go to. There might be tweaks along the way for every specific fire. I mean, there might be different directions that they're heading, different evacuation routes or whatnot. But we will be working. I mean, Caltrans is part of the partnership on this too. So they're certainly aware of, say, like in the North Shore, we have Highway 20 that's can be congested through emergencies. Or here, obviously, you have a lot along those.
So what are the two supervisors that are part of the council?
Bruno Sabatier and Mo Simon are the two county supervisor representatives.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
So when do you plan, what's your timeline? When do you plan to have this ready for this, the actual plan for submission?
I believe we're looking at next fall, we should have a final, a draft version that's maybe ready to go for adoption before our board. So there's still some time. Obviously, we're trying to get the input right now, and then the draft will be put together, and so there's still some time to go.
Gotcha. So, and my question is two-part. You sort of answered the first part. So your board will approve it, it sounds like, and then what happens to it? Where does it go from there? Like, where does this ultimately land? Does it land with the county or OES or?
I mean, all of those.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. OES is one of the bigger partners in this, and the local fire departments obviously would be important players too, and the cities. I mean, like I said, every emergency is going to be different, so everyone should have a plan kind of handy or be a little bit aware of what's what the coordination that was discussed in that.
So will the plan have multiple components to it? I'm trying to get my head around what this is going to look like.
I can't say because the consulting firm is going to be putting it together.
Okay.
We're kind of overseeing the consulting firm, and
maybe some of that will wash out in the needs assessment.
That's the hope, yes. And so they will have it. There's a transportation component that will look at sort of the evacuation routes, and if need be, and there needs to be kind of a new road punched through somewhere because there's only one way in, one way out. I mean, we'll look at that. We'll look at funding sources. I mean, we can't obviously build, the plan doesn't have the funds to do that sort of thing, but they can give us ideas of what we need to focus on for future, emergency cases. Spring Valley comes to mind, or there's other areas of the county that, it's pretty great.
I think maybe what you look for is the scope of work for this contract online someplace? Outline.
It's a good question, yeah, thank you.
What the consultant's being asked to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. We have a request for proposals that goes out, and we kind of have a list of items that we want to see them put together, and then they put in a proposal. I mean, the proposals if you want to get in touch with me, I can certainly get you that information.
Yeah.
I have all that stuff on my desk in my office.
I'll send you a note. Thanks.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, because again, this will tie in. We're very beginning, just on the on-ramp to all this general planning and area planning. We're doing a new community wildfire protection plan.
Right.
And so all of this, integrating all of this would be really critical.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I know that there's other plans going on at the same time. I mean, I hope it's not, I don't know if you could over-plan, but, definitely every little bit final.
It just needs to be tightly coordinated and linked so that we're not going off in 2 or 3 different directions. That's primarily, I think, what you're hearing the concerns here about.
Great, so some of the real clear
there'll be the 2 workshops next month, and then there'll be 2 further ones towards when the draft is prepared.
After the draft.
Correct, and so that'd be probably next summer-ish, I think, when the draft might be available for comment.
So and then you'll shop the draft around to all the advisory councils, is that what you do?
We could do that. We could, we didn't plan on doing that, but we could certainly get the word out as much as possible for everyone to take a look at it. It'll probably be available online and all that for the public to take a look at.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out how you're getting the financial with this. I've been trying.
Yeah.
To
Is the transportation component in the general plan? You remember? Yeah, good.
Circulation.
So I work in social services, and generally there is an evacuation plan in place in most zones. We work with that because we contact our patients. And we do have a preparedness plan in place. So I'm not sure how this is different than what's already existing. And if you could share that, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's going to be kind of rolled into this, is my understanding. They've worked with social services. I mean, they were part of our first technical advisory group meeting about a month ago, including.
But it's already existed, I guess is my point. I'm not going after it. I think it's great. I think we should have this. There's no doubt about it. I just question whether we're just continuing to reinvent something that already exists instead of just bettering what already exists. And with the zone system and the communication systems in place, I guess I'm a little confused about the goal. Not that it's bad. The intentions are clear and positive and good, and no question about it.
I think the intent is a little bit more too, is to, I'm sure they have worked closely with OES and the fire agencies and that sort of thing in the past, or LTA for folks who don't have transportation. But like I said, it was kind of an ad hoc, and everyone kind of looked at their own specific plans. This is kind of a little bit broader umbrella that tries to kind of capture all of it. Is the best I could explain.
And we don't have this in place right now, is what you're saying?
Nothing standardized, no.
So it would be like taking all of these little individual colonies and all their rules and bringing them together, and then taking, we have this one, this was a good one, let's add this into it, and then you're going to have a procedure book that is going to be standardized for every agency and everybody, the public, everybody.
I argue that exists, but I hear you.
Yeah.
It may not be well known, but I argue that it exists.
Well, the OES plan, which is Emergency Operations Plan, is pretty much just a template. And there are declarations in there that are not, that have not been acted on. So there's things that need to be spelled out, and they can't just spell them out without talking to everybody else. I'm hoping that this plan will do some of that integration that's really missing. I mean, I've been going to county risk reduction authority and Lake County Fire State Council meetings for the past 9 years. South Lake Fire State Council, now there's a Canal Fire State Council. I get to listen to all the people talking about the senior centers and whatever. And this integration is necessary. We just want to make sure that it's being transparent to the whole public, and that our local community concerns are being addressed, and not just sort of like this very abstract, yes kind of state template.
And when I worked at Department of Public Works, I was there for 12 years, and we had an issue that came up in the 90s when there was the fork fire up in Upper Lake. And where it happened was the Upper Lake Fire District. And then CAL FIRE, California came in, and then the feds came in, and everybody was fighting each other, and it was making it worse, and then it ended up that the fire exploded, and they all, it was like, get out of here, don't come. And so I think what I'm hearing from you is that you're trying to take all of this, and everybody has the same playbook throughout the county. Yes, there is stuff in place, there's stuff in place, and oh yes, that was a long time ago. So now we're doing kind of what we're doing with the area planning council. We're going at revisiting it and bringing it up to date, because we had fires, but there was nothing like the ones that we had in the teens. So I think that's what you're trying to do,
Well,
not reinventing the wheel,
certainly the goal,
but
is
pulling
to-
it all together,
To coordinate it better.
coordinating it, and that's what I think they need to do. And so I can say, there's a fire here, who do I call? I'll know that I can find someplace to look.
That's certainly the overall goal.
Okay.
More questions?
Looks like we're good, I think.
Okay.
All right.
There is a stack here.
Yeah.
And, for folks after the meeting, please take one.
And your business cards, if you have
And I
a
do
little
have that
stack of
card.
those.
And do the survey.
Yes.
Thank you very much, John.
Yeah,
If
thank you,
anyone
John.
doesn't want to do the online version, I'm happy to hang out for
I
the.
have one copy.
Thank you very much, John. And moving along to our committee reports. Magdalena for the Firewise communities. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you for that presentation.
Yeah.
Now we're segueing right into this. So I know Cindy's not here, Gwyneth's not here, he's not online yet either. David, and then Lori, so I'm going to kind of give a thing. So within the Siegler Springs Firewise community, we had a fire last month in our neighborhood and learned quite a bit from that. Our neighborhood has set up a planning group to develop a proposal to the rest of the neighbors for organizing ourselves a little better. One of the things that we learned was that, or that we were remembering, is every house really should have a 100-foot hose or a hose that wraps around your house and a metal rake. So even after you've hardened your home and you've created your defensible space, that 100-foot hose that wraps around your house can help to slow the fire down, and you need a metal rake to be able to pull away any embers or brush that might be on fire. We're definitely making use of the force multiplier program, which Kathy, I think, mentioned in the last meeting, I see from the minutes. Hooray. We also learned from the Boyles fire how important it is to know where your evacuation zone is in relation to the other evacuation zones. We had neighbors that were caught out there. Her evacuation zone was 2 zones over, but when you look at the map, there was a border of that section that was right up against one of the zones that had to be evacuated. Fortunately, she had enough time and followed her gut, followed all the evacuation procedures, and stayed with friends. We're trying to arrange a tour to visit Gordon Springs, because they have, as you all know, they have a well set up firefighting set up there. And then I wanted to remind everybody, so Cindy in the Firewise Group 2, which includes the school, estates, and Rainbow, they have made use of the South Lake Fire Safe Council /clerk grant, so they're going to be getting some ingress-egress work done. Then we've noticed that the 10th year anniversary is coming next year for 3 fires. Rocky, Jerusalem, and Valley. So a number of us Firewise communities, including Hidden Valley, the Lake County Fire Safe Council, Loch Lomond Firewise community, we've started to make some noises about what we might do next year, you know, to set up a bunch of events for that. And then, so then we also found out that the Valley Fire, at the time it occurred, was the third largest fire in the state's history. It has now been eclipsed by the Park Fire, which is 4 times as big as what had occurred here.
Wow.
And then we're sending out the, encouraging people to fill out the tree mortality survey, because they only need 14 folks left to get that project moving. And if you sign up now, that will also help boost the county's ability to apply for additional funding assistance to come sooner than later.
Where is that tree mortality survey?
I've been sending it out. There's a county website. You
know what we can Google
It's
to
on
find
the
it, or?
Lake County Risk Reduction Authority.
Okay.
I just don't have it written because I was thinking about this as I came in. But I can also send you an email because I sent it out recently.
And I have one other just comment on that. If you're planning on doing anything, I think in the past we've used some of those emergency preparedness funds for events as well. So that might be a use for those dollars that have been sitting there for a little while if we wanted to do some sort of event around the 10th anniversary.
Right. Thank you for that. We, you know, it's been a while since we've had any Cobb Resilient or Cobb Safe events, but I'm thinking that more of the county's actually interested because we're all in it together.
I have a quick question. The Firewise communities, has anybody gotten any sort of break from their insurance by showing a Firewise certificate?
Yes, I get these questions all the time because there hasn't been a coordinating, well, put it this way. I'm the community regional coordinator here in Cobb. And so each of those, including each of the communities here, including Anderson Springs, has been coming to me for those kinds of questions. I've even gotten questions from people who didn't know who their Firewise community was. And yes, people have. And I've even had to, recently, last week, I had a guy change his agent because they weren't responding to his requests for his Firewise community discount. And then we just renewed ours. Elliot and I just renewed ours. We're looking at a 14.5% discount.
Wow.
Which includes home hardening and defensible space.
Wow. Is that Fair Plan or?
I'm sorry?
Was that on Fair Plan?
It was on the Fair Plan.
14% is significant on a Fair Plan.
Yeah. If you can look on the State Commissioner's website, the State Insurance Commissioner for the Safer from Wildfires program, to see all the different companies that are signed up to provide discounts. But the California Fair Plan is sort of like your last resort. They have to provide a discount just from their agreement with the state. But the Safer from Wildfires site will have a list of all the different companies that are involved.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Magdalena. And I see Gleneth just walked in the door. Does he have any, Gleneth, do you have any Firewise community report? Sorry to catch you right in the door, but since you, for the Firewise community? Okay. Any further questions for Magdalena before we move on? All right. Time for the Communications Committee report, and that would be me and Mel. Get you on your toes ahead of time here. It looks like we had 17 new members sign up at the Cobbler Festival. If I counted that correctly, it looks like we have 5 new members in Loch Lomond, 3 in the Hannah area, 5 in the Boggs area, 1 in Ziegler and 2 in Cobb and 1 in Hoburgs. We have 20 more radios available for sale. They can be purchased at Madeline's Mail Express in Loch Lomond. We have a third repeater that's up and running called the Ridge Repeater. And that is like for the Loch Lomond and Ziegler Springs area to use in, if you're between, is it Casale or
Casale or Casale?
Casale Road and Ridge Road. If you're between there, it's kind of a dead zone for our mountain repeater, or, iffy zone, put it that way. And this enables people in that area to communicate with each other and with us better. It does not replace the current Channel 5 that Loch Lomond and Ziegler uses on our mountain repeater. That still exists. But this is in addition to for that area specifically. So for simplex little radios, it's channel 10, and on the GMRS or the bigger radios, it's channel 24 or 16.
There will be a quiz.
Yes, there will be a quiz at the end of this, so pay attention. I'll be the teacher tonight instead of Kathy. Anyhow, let's see. I think I already said that. Basically after the Doha fire, it was clear that the communication in that area needed to be amped up. I think I'll let you do the first-hand information from the Cobbler Festival, since you were there all day.
Okay.
And the ham test info, and plug the Canocti group.
Yeah, so those new 17 people took home radios. I have 2 here tonight if anybody needs the little radios. And we talked to a lot of people, a lot of our members that we haven't seen dropped by. The ham test, and this is we're not a ham radio network, but a lot of us are ham radio operators too. And there are 2 coming up. Willits this Saturday, so if somebody's a quick study in Willits. And then the following weekend in Sonoma. Email me or us, cobbalertnet@gmail.com for info. And
Canocti repeater, we haven't talked about that much.
oh yeah, we advertised our sister group has been up and solidly running now for several years on Canocti Mountain. So there's a Lake County North Alert Net, and they were active during the Boyles fire. They don't do the little radios, so it's only a licensed network. So we're kind of unique. As far as I know, we're sort of unique in the whole alert space with these little $10 radios. Most people only do the license thing, but the whole origin of the net was, well, the guys with the licenses are listening to the scanner anyway. It's the people like we lost in the Valley Fire that needed a quick alert system who wouldn't be. So encourage everybody to get these out of your junk drawer. We have 350, I think, members now, and we have about 50 or less check in regularly. So more radios are on than those 50, but I know it's not 350.
Yeah, and our check-ins are weekly on the radio. Our check-ins, being Cobb Alert Net, are every Wednesday at 6:30, but starting at 6, you can check in early from 6 to 6:30, and at 6:30 we do a test alert, followed by the regular check-ins. What's convenient with the Canocti repeater, they do their check-ins Wednesday evening as well at 5:30, so you can check in there at 5:30 and then pop on at 6 o'clock to check in early with us and stick around.
And when you get your ham license, you can check in with the hams at 7.
Oh, well, isn't that convenient?
It's a
That's
whole night.
perfect. Excellent.
We got to start delivering food.
And what channel is the check-in?
Depending on,
For Cobb AlertNet, that is on Gary's radio, it's 23 or 33. On this little radio, it's the main channel, which is 8.
8, yeah.
But do you have one of these little ones?
No, I have my own.
That's what I thought.
Handheld one. I have a small.
It's small.
We use it for channel 1 as our channel.
Oh, right, well, we should make sure that that's programmed, because it may not be programmed for this.
Oh, probably not.
Right.
It probably isn't.
But it probably can be.
Yeah,
um,
I have a brother-in-law that gives me all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tim?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because, yeah, I'll come up and program, just like Gary's. Gary's got the programming, but you can borrow that radio. But yeah, it'd be great to have you check in.
If someday I need to, I want to know.
Yeah, you want to know how it works? Yeah, that's why
That
we do
helps.
it. It seems boring to go, yeah, number 33's here again. But if you don't do it once a month, I mean, I've had people who've had the radios for 5 years and go, oh, this is a two-way radio? I didn't know I could talk on it. Or
Yeah.
I've been pushing this button for a year and nobody hears me, and it's the other side of the radio. So you have to practice. I'm not making that up. Pressing the other side button.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I kept pressing the channel button. I thought I was pressing the volume button.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's not simple, but once you practice it, it's relatively simple. But it's easy to get intimidated, so that's why we practice.
Or rusty.
Or
We've got
Rusty,
a
yes,
question
108, who we haven't heard from in
I know.
Question in the back.
a long time.
Well, I got a secondhand radio from somebody that actually, the person who told me about this program, and the battery ended up just wasn't recharging, so I got to get a pair of on Amazon for like $50.
Of the batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really came really fast, and so that's available. And I kind of urge people to make sure that the batteries are recharging properly. It could be that time it just doesn't work.
That's right, the ones that have been sitting in a drawer, who knows?
Those batteries, they have a shelf life, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of our radios have been out there since 2017-18, so, yeah,
That's probably one of the ones I have.
that's probably it.
Gwyneth.
PSA is cheap.
I think you guys are regularly improving and upgrading different parts of the network so it works better. So that's another reason for checking in, right?
We find out where the weak spots are.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to the Boggs neighborhood, I think, after this meeting, because not everybody hears the alerts over there. By the way, Boggs 5 is back, Jill, and so
Yeah.
Gleneth has been holding up the fort over there. With this,
Remarkable. She's getting my second, right?
yeah, so the Boggs people who disappeared on Gleneth, you can come back, Jill will whip them into shape. But thank you, Gleneth, for
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you
serving the
for
neighborhood leading.
doing the extra effort there between your Zoom meetings you have to do and, yeah, going back and forth. It's very helpful, so. All right, any other questions or comments for the communications, us nerds up here? All right, Forest Health Committee, Elliot.
Well, I know we made an exciting splash several months ago announcing that we had received this Cobb Mountain Community Wildfire Protection Plan grant, and it's been one of these classic hurry up and wait situations, waiting. We filled out our paperwork. We're waiting for the federal government to come back and give us the final contract papers to sign. We're expecting that we will actually be able to kick the program into gear before the end of the year. I also wanted to let the council know that we will be coming back to the council in November with an MOU between SSCRA and the Cobb Area Council for utilization of the matching funds that you approved for when we did our application. So we'll be fleshing that out. We've just been hiring up our volunteer coordinator and staffing up SSCRA, so we'll be able to dive into the program, as the year comes to a close.
So I have a question for you on the MOU.
Yes.
Is it possible to have a draft here for the
Yeah.
October meeting?
Well, we are going to be out of town in October, but I will
At least present it to,
Yeah.
in case there's any mock-up anyone wants to do
Good.
before
Yeah,
November.
We'll get a draft by October.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Elliot.
Yes. Yeah, well, yeah, Jake, maybe you can represent it for, at that, in October, yeah. Jake's
say
the
anything?
council member of the committee there.
You
yeah.
put out an email today also about something I thought that was fairly...
Yeah, we had, many of you know John Green from Green's Tree Service. He's a, you know, I mean, this close to actually getting his full arborist license, and he's been doing a lot of tree work in the neighborhood. And he said he saw a beetle that he just did not recognize. And as many of you know, there's been the Mediterranean oak borer has made its appearance in Lake County this year, and it's definitely of concern. I mean, as much as we mourn the loss of our pines, I think the oaks have a even more kind of heartfelt and deep, you know, a place in our community's identity. So we're very, very conscious of kind of tracking, you know, the spread of the Mediterranean oak borer. And particularly what John Green was looking for, and we connected him up to Dr. Mike Jones, who's the University of California Extension Service forester. He also happens to be an entomologist, so don't get Dr. Jones talking about beetles or you'll be there all day. But particularly of concern is what are the management procedures if you run into any of these pests, because it really, you have to be very careful in terms of how you dispose of the wood, how you treat your tools, and actually reporting protocols so they can track this as well. So anyone out there who's doing work in the forest with the trees, if you're coming across, you know, make sure it's a part of what we'll be doing, what we're doing all together as a community, is we're all becoming much more educated just about, you know, the ecology of our forest. And the more that we can learn about that, the better. What Chris is referring to is we sent an email out to we've got a good forest stewardship committee here in Cobb of over 30 people who are interested in the forest. We pay attention to it. We're going to be working together on this community wildfire protection plan. And we sent out a link to the presentation that Dr. Jones did on the Mediterranean oak borer. And if you're interested, again, you can look through the Lake County Risk Reduction Authority YouTube channel. They will actually show you, give you a link to Dr. Jones's video on the Mediterranean oak borer. So again, if you're working with your trees, it's always good to, you know, increase your, continuing education. Right, and you can report it on the clerk site. Theclerc.org. theclerc.org is where you can report any sightings of the Mediterranean oak borer.
THEC clerk?
The clerk.
The clerk, yes.
The clerk,
The
like
clerk,
CLERC.
Yes, the Clear
Okay.
Lake Environmental Resource
Right,
Center.
okay.
Should you save the insect or send it to vector control or somebody?
I don't know.
They're just tracking the sightings, I don't know what they're doing with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I took a very tiny tick, which turned out to be a nymph or the smallest possible tick.
well, it is
They were
interesting.
very happy at vector control. They said it's only the second one they've seen in Lake County.
Well, it is interesting, once we sent this out to our list, we got an email back. Gary basically sent us a picture of this really amazing kind of zebra-looking beetle. He said, I've never seen one like this before. And we were able to identify, no, that's a native, you know, beetle. So, again, you know your wildlife.
Any other questions for Elliot? Any other comments from Elliot?
Thank you, Elliot.
Yeah, thank you. Economic Development Committee, Chris, do you have?
The Economic Development Committee has been busy doing Blackberry Cobbler Festival stuff, because the Blackberry Cobbler is our primary activity during the year. So I'm going to defer to this wonderful human being over to my left.
And we can segue
And
into,
I see the chair of the Blackberry Committee. I don't want to put you on the spot, Jennifer, but Jennifer Gata is here who is the chairperson of our Blackberry Festival this year. So I don't know if you want to...
You're the one with the numbers.
Oh, I got numbers. I didn't know if you wanted to say something else like thank you to our sponsors.
I didn't bring my list of sponsors. Jennifer, bring my list of sponsors.
It's all yours now, Kathy.
Yeah, I was at back to school night. Sorry for my tardiness. But I was gonna be, had to miss something. So, yeah, we estimated 4,500 people visited. We had over 100 vendors, 110?
Wow.
100 vendors, and there she is. Now we can like clap hands. And once again, Calpine was our platinum sponsor, and I'm just like very grateful for their ongoing every year their support with this. And new to the family this year is Sutter Health. We had 2 platinum sponsors, and so both their logos were on the back of these souvenir cups, which are still available for purchase. And SSCRA, we thank you once again for your partnership, because without you, we couldn't do the thing we needed to do. Hardesters, once again, not only like donating at the gold level, but then also providing prizes for the Blackberry Cobbler contest. And Georgia Emerson was the first place winner of the Blackberry Cobbler contest. Reynolds Systems, once again, this is their second year supporting us at the gold level. We also had the Fainting Couch, new Bottle Rock Candle Studio, Mandala Springs came back, Twin Pine Casino, California Tendai came back to support us. And we are so very, very grateful to our host, the Belmont Pines, formerly known as Mountain Meadow, and they did everything they could to welcome us and make us feel welcomed, and appreciating Ashley very much. She was our point person for that. And also, once again, we must say a big hearty thank you to the West Fest folks who, for the people that did the work to try to make the ground a little bit greener and the grass a little bit shorter. They did it on our behalf too, serving that community effort. So thank you to the West Fest people. And there are so many other people that sponsored us in one way or another. Action Sanitary, Lake County Waste Solutions, Alan Hurwitz Media, Patrick Lambert from Farmers Insurance, Kelsey Creek Brewing Company, Shannon Family of Wines, Our Vineyards, Six Sigma, the 3 Mile Brewing Company, way over there in Becketteville, the Eagle and Rose Inn, Pine Grove Resort, the Ice Water Distributor, and near and dear to everyone's heart, the Cobb Elementary School Garden Program. And the PTO, I wish I don't have any numbers on how they did, but they always provide the attractions in the kids zone, and it's just wonderful. The Gill Brothers came through for us in the end, and not only did they perform, they provided sound for the whole day. We also enjoyed 3 on the Tree that morning. And Jennifer, Chris, Jill, Sally manned all the social media. I think she knew what she was getting into when she signed up for us. But it was fantastic. We reached, I don't know, so many people. But it was and all the volunteers, how many there were, like over 100, I think, from freshmen in high school on up to, I don't know, seniors, if you know what I mean. Not just seniors in high school, seniors. So I am just astounded, and one of my joys is like when I'm going around, I'm like, oh, here's our poster, will you put it up in your business? and then people see me walking in with the poster, they say, "Oh, awesome! We want it!" Like they see us coming, and it's just it gives me goosebumps right now. Look. So, Chris, tell us some of the good news.
Let's do it again.
Okay.
Yeah, we should do it again next year.
Can I add a couple things?
Yes, please. Do you want to add it at the mic?
Ah, we all want to hear it. So you can go or you can go first.
I think she's going to go first, unless you want me to do numbers, but I think you should go first.
Yeah, because I want to write the numbers
Because
down.
numbers, people's eyes will glaze over and then you'll have a listening audience.
I just want to add a couple. Hi, my name is Jennifer. I worked with Chris and Kathy and several others on the Blackberry Cobbler Festival. And I just wanted to add a couple things. Everything that Kathy said was perfect. I just want to mention all of the vendors. So, and it's kind of the major reason why I volunteered to do it, is because the vendors, I think we filled up within a week after putting it online of vendors, and for months we're begged to let more vendors in. And we do only have a certain area, space out there, so we can't go too overboard, but every single vendor did extremely well. And that's what makes me happy. Yeah. And those vendors are all local too, around Lake County. So that's why I do it. And then even I think a lot of our food vendors sold out. So that's even better. So I'm just really happy about that. And I really enjoy working with Kathy and Chris and others too. So thank you guys too for being a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, speaking of food vendors, the consistent feedback that I got was we need more food vendors out there. So
Yes. Oh, and then the other thing I was going to add, Calpine this year added, they were a platinum sponsor again, but they added an additional $500 too.
They did.
They love the festival so much. Aww.
They were. Yeah, we love Calpine. And that makes a really important point before I get to the numbers, that the entire purpose of the Blackberry Cobbler Festival came out of the Economic Development Committee efforts in order to really promote the businesses around Cobb and the cottage industries that we have here and all the wonderful artists. And so just want to preface these numbers with that. The bottom line is we actually broke even this year. We had about probably 25, I'm going to use round numbers rather than do dollars and cents, but we had about $25,000 in expenses and about $25,000 in sales with merchandise and beer and wine. So we've got a good chunk of that is still tied up in merchandise. We've got a few hundred cups that we've got in storage right now. So if you want a 2024 Memorial Blackberry cup, we can probably arrange some for a discount for you. Because we'd like to move some of those, and we'll sell them next year. We got rid of all of our previous year ones, and also we got rid of all the T-shirts that we've been. Yeah, they're all gone. Yeah.
They're going to be in my garage anymore.
Well, no, there's. I think I have like one or two like kids small ones. So if anybody's got like a really small frame or a kid, I've got some Cobb. What were those? Just Cobb.
What was like, Cobb is Lake County's diamond, and the black one with the beautiful heart.
Yeah, I love Cobb.
Rosie's beautiful design with the blue and the turquoise heart with the image of Cobb. Ooh, what's the beautiful.
Yeah, so all of our former merchandise that has been sort of sitting around in inventory is all gone now, and so now what we've got is fairly new stuff that we'll also sell next year. So even though it sounds like it's a break even, we'll be able to make that money up next year when we do additional sales. We had our biggest, just amazing group of volunteers that did over the course of those 3 or 4 hours that we were actually selling, 651 transactions. So that was quite a bit. We did about $8,000 in cash and about $8,000 in credit card sales, just of merchandise and beer. So all of that in just about 5 or 6 hours is pretty amazing. And all of the money that we spent this year, I think, was well spent because it made our lives a lot easier.
Like, for example, the beer situation. This year, instead of seeking donations for beer, we went ahead and purchased it through a distributor. The purpose of that was that it gave us the refrigerated truck. If you get a refrigerated truck and then over here, this company donates a keg of beer, you can't run it through the refrigerated truck. So for the sake of not running around trying to get ice like 100 times a day, that day, which talked to Patrick McCarthy about how many times he's run for ice in the middle of a Blackberry Cobbler Festival. And anyway, so in just the sheer convenience of it. So we lost some of that revenue, but boy was it easier. And people were happy. So the second thing is that we went ahead and hired a professional parking company, which saved me a gabillion hours of sweat and effort, and also the volunteers, instead of having to go out and man the parking lot, they could do other things like pick up garbage or I don't know what garbage is mostly the thing that they took care of. And the third thing, the other big expense was the traffic control on the highway. I mean, I feel like as long as this event is easy to get to and easy to park, then people are going to come.
Yeah.
Yes,
So that
Jennifer.
is one thing that I've heard over and over every year is that the ease of the attraction of going to an event, and we've got the elementary school that provides kind of over and beyond the experience for the child. It's in grass, it's under trees, and that's, and it's convenient. It's not packed. The parking has been easy. I heard really good comments on that. The location, it's not congested, so it makes the come. Yeah. So I think you're onto that. It's going well.
Yeah, thank you for that. And the point of this isn't to make tons of money for us. As a matter of fact, really the primary use for the money is to make sure that we've got enough money to start again next year. So we do have money in the Blackberry Cobbler Festival. We've got about $3,000 outstanding, about $3,700 outstanding that hasn't hit our account yet. But we'll go into next year with about $15,000 on hand to do everything we need to do around planning Blackberry Cobbler Festival 2025.
So this has been growing.
It has been growing, yes.
How far can we actually grow at that site?
Maybe that's a question for our chair and maybe our venue person.
I'm fine with growing and growing and growing. Now that we have the other fairway cleared and not hit high, we can always expand there. Where worst case scenario, you guys make the entire first fairway parking and then we have the entire event on the second fairway, or vice versa. Like, there's options. So now that it's under control with the grounds and not so fire danger for parking, we could definitely, I think we have room. We will be in the future taking off the greens, because that's the only part that can't be driven on. So
that's happened every year.
Yeah. So that's going to be the only obstacle. But yeah, now that we have the second fairway and the entire back section, I mean, we have room to grow. We have room for more parking, we have room for more vendors. So I'm fine with that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
We can take another 1,000.
The pizza parlor, meanwhile, the pizza parlor reported that weekend that like Friday night was off the hook, Saturday night was off the hook, Sunday morning they had to drive to Ukai or wherever they go to get more supplies, but they didn't have enough to get through Sunday. Joe, I hope you had a good weekend. Yeah.
That's a nod, yes.
The same applies for the coffee shop. They had their best day ever.
Best day ever.
Ever.
Ever. Wow. And I had blackberry brunch on Sunday at Adams. It was great.
I do feel like it grows every year.
It does.
I do have that feeling every year. Do you by any chance, Chris, know what our sales were last year compared to this year?
Yeah, we brought in about $10,000 more this year than last year in sales. So, I mean, it didn't quite double, probably increased by about 30 some odd percent. Yeah, somewhere in there.
So the numbers were 45 in attendance, and last year was
About 35.
35.
This is only my second summer here, but last year was so darn hot.
Yeah.
I couldn't spend too much time here, and I'm wondering, the weather was so unbelievable this year that people hung out. It was a lot easier to stay and really spend more time. So I think that, obviously, it's nice to get that bonus that the weather comes.
Agreed.
Pray for good weather for next year.
I've already submitted a request. I put it in the paperwork.
Yeah, I drove by it last year, and before all these I drove by it last year, it was too hot. The parking was all the way down, I was like, no. So this year the weather, I think, made a big impact.
Any other questions before we move on?
Well, and can have her take over chairing into the chair to chair, or I can just finish it out.
Finish it out.
If we're done with all the accolades and the celebrating, and we had a successful Blackberry Cobbler Festival.
I hear a motion to adjourn.
We don't need a motion, but our next meeting,
She just gets to wield power as the acting chair. Go.
right, our next meeting will be October 17th. It's the usual third Thursday of every month, and it happens to be October 17th. And if there is no further business, we will adjourn at 8:06.